time to sit down and talk with Jerod Mayo. And Jerod, before we get to the game against Chicago, just your thoughts on the Titans game.
Yeah, disappointing to leave there with the loss. And saying that the guys did go out there and, they competed. They competed all the way through overtime. And, there were plays to be made. And I always tell these guys it's not just one play. You can say the 2-point, go for it, don't go for it. You can say, Booty knocked the ball down. But there were so many plays in there that could change the outcome of the game that we just didn't make. And it falls on me to get the guys to focus. The average play is 6 seconds per play.
Right.
Focus for 6 second increments. Give it everything you have, and hopefully the outcome will turn out differently.
See, I think sometimes the outside perception is you take nothing from a loss, but the resiliency of the team, and you got your young quarterback in there, the rallying around him to go down there and to extend that play the way you did. That's something you could hang your hat in as far as building something forward.
For me, like throughout my life in general, no matter what industry we're talking about, sports, school, whatever, I learned the most through failure, and it's hard in the short term, but it's a true loss if you don't take anything away from it. And once again, like we want to win every game, but the reality of the situation is very hard to win in this league, especially when you don't go out there and execute on a play after play basis.
One of the interesting things to me is, okay, so you scored there at the end. I'm sitting in the post game right there. I'm next to you about 10 feet away. Somebody asked you about going for two. I kind of looked and I'm like, it never entered my mind. Because for me, it just felt calling the game. You're exhausted, like, yes, we're going to overtime. Your thoughts on going for two, because you were pressed on this.
Yeah, so I thought the coaching staff, again, like trying to pull out some of the positives, I thought the coaching staff did a great job staying ahead of the game. And so we had a call ready to go. It ultimately falls on me and my decision, and I thought the best thing to do for the team was to kick the extra point, the defense go out there against that offense, get the ball back, and
then you know what you have to do.
You know what you have to do. And I will say, even with all those things that have happened, and again, there's more than one play, we still had an opportunity at the end of the game to go down the line. So it's disappointing.
Multiple balls on the ground, too. There were chances there, too.
There were absolutely chances.
Drake, 95 yards on the ground. It's fun calling the game to watch him run. Not really the recipe that you want, right, for him to rush about 100 yards?
Well, what I would say is, like, he's going to do whatever it takes to help the team win. And, everyone's like, oh, you need to slide or run out of bounds. And I agree with those things. And I think that comes with maturity and saying that he's putting it all on the line. And I appreciate his competitiveness. I appreciate his heart. And I appreciate really just his overall steadiness, especially as a rookie. You don't really see that.
It's only 22.
Yeah, he's 22 years old.
He's handling a lot.
That's right.
There's another young guy, Caleb Williams, who you're playing this week against the Bears, went number 1. How much work did you guys actually do on him draft time? Because you're sitting there at 3, you knew you were going to take the quarterback, and I think this consensus was he was going 1, right?
Yeah, so I know Elliott and his staff, they spent a lot of time on all those quarterbacks. For me, because, the schedule gets kind of tight, I assumed that Caleb was going to go number 1. So I did not spend a lot of time on him coming out. Now, and saying that, I've done a lot of film study now, in the pros, and he's one of those guys that, he can make all the throws, and he's very athletic, like surprisingly for me at least. And, the way he's able to extend plays, the way he's able to make all the throws, different arm angles, all those things, it's very impressive.
Washington wins the game on them by a Hail Mary. There was a lazy play in the back end of the secondary. When you see that play, another team making that play, how much do you coach your own team as, and I know you call timeout at the end of the game too, to make sure, hey, defensively, we got this right as far as the Hail Mary. How much does that Hail Mary make you cover all your bases? Again,
going back to how we started this conversation, like everyone talks about the Hail Mary, but there were multiple plays in the game, starting in the first quarter where, they had a pre-snap penalty that cost them points. And even going throughout the game, there were about 10 plays that you could really pinpoint and say, well, if we would have just. And that's a bad feeling for players. That's a bad feeling for coaches. And everyone's talking about the Hail Mary, but there were so many other opportunities that the common fan probably doesn't even go back to even realize that those things happen. So, we always learn from, going back to the Hail Mary, we always try to learn from other people's mistakes, and just having that sense of urgency on a 6 second basis.
Time now for Ask Me Almost Anything. This comes from Will W.
Why is it almost?
Almost anything, because we want them to kind of cross the line a little bit, but not too much.
Not too much. I got it.
I mean, we can put some of those questions.
No. Don't ask me.
So these are safe ones. We're in a safe space here. Will W wants to know, being a former linebacker, doing drills, old school drills, the tip drill. Jelani Tavai gets the tip. Do you guys practice that tip drill? And what about ball security, ball on the ground drill? Do you guys still do that as a team?
Yeah, we practice that every single day. The tip drill's on Friday, but the tackle turnover circuits happen every single day at practice.
All right, if you want to ask the coach almost anything, maybe we could cross the line next week. You got to go to patriots.com/askthecoach.